Hey, hi everyone. This is Sai from Let's Upgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us, like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
All right. Welcome everyone. I hope we are live. Yes, you all can hear me. You all can see my video. You all can see my screen coming up. Great. That's really interesting. And welcome back to yet another interesting session where we are covering something really interesting. In fact, really wanted to take a session on this topic much ago, but never late than never. So we are here. The point here is that this topic is really something that shook many of the production environments. This topic was seen as a huge threat to generative AI development cycles. Okay, so what exactly are we talking about? See, we all have used Chat, GPT, Gemini, or any large language model in our day-to-day tasks. Okay, many of us might have. Some of might come from development background. Some of us could be maybe computer engineers, students, or you can say enthusiasts who want to learn things on their own, right? So we might have stumbled upon the thoughts of what prompt engineering is and how we build something like that, right? So the advent of large language models is like the birth of the internet, right? And just as the internet connected, the world moved in unprecedented ways, right? So large language models are now doing the same thing. So they're connecting dots with the artificial intelligence, right? Naturally, if you see, this breakthrough has sparked the development and the cycle of moving towards AGI, moving towards the possibilities where we can integrate tools, we can use AI in different applications, and of course the prompt engineering helping us to make unique crafted art. Okay, maybe it could be to build you can say a space research chatbot, to something like someone expert in mathematics, someone expert in English, someone expert in translations, and not even just chatbot surveys, something that can automate things for us. We have possibilities like n10 automations and other products building a lot of things for us. So infinite ways in which you can say the generative models or AI with LLM are boosting, right? So the rise in the demand of production ready prompts is something that is essentially following up. So since 2023, I have been developing and delivering solutions with AI. In fact, when technologies like LangChain, Llama Index, prompt chaining, or chains, the concept of course what LangChain brought up, or relatively yet you can say yet immature concepts like agents, AI agentic process, right? Even when these processes were not there, when the boom of open AI just started to capture the market, we started seeing clients. So we worked on different projects. I worked on some chatbots which were generative based, and it was really challenging and interesting even at that point to you can see deliver something which is a production ready prompt, right? So with this influx of LLM applications, the need so to what can be termed as production ready LLM has emerged. Okay, so again, these production ready prompts need to be meticulously crafted. Okay, they need a lot of reiteration, and to ensure that they are concrete, precise, and they're capable of handling the given use case in the best possible way. We have to make sure that we test them through a lot. Then came up a lot of evaluation tools like OPEAK, and OpenAI has its own tools. Okay, we have Langsmith, so many more of such tools that we can use, which are empowering to evaluate AI better. However, what I will say is prompt engineering is more of a art than technology. To be very honest, like it's not that difficult to explain someone what prompt engineering is. In fact, if you have been following us live, if you have been following my series a lot on Let's Upgrade, I do talk about some jargons. I demystify concepts of AI, like what is prompt, what is a token, embedding, large language models, what is encoding decoders, okay, things like that. I talk a lot about them on this channel, and especially talking about prompt engineering. So it is nothing but the way in which you guide the model to work. Okay, so even if you are new, if you are coming us joining us for the very first session, it might always feel that we have a lot to cover. We are very late in the series, but it's not always like that. See, number one, all the sessions that Let's Upgrade conducts, all the sessions that we deliver, we always keep newcomers in mind. Okay, so the point is that even if you're here and if you are started to wondering that, oh my God, sir just mentioned that he has covered some past sessions where he talked about different terminologies and things like that. So maybe I am not suitable for the live. No, it's not like that. There is no prerequisite for this live. There is nothing that you need to know prior coming over here. Okay, if you are able to understand me, you have a good internet, you can decipher what I'm speaking, you are more than capable to take this session. Okay, so yet again, it will benefit you if you already appreciate and know the concept of generative AI, if you know what ChatGPT or OpenAI are doing for us. Okay, so with that being said, so we move ahead, we discuss again that what I mentioned right now is that prompt engineering is more of a art than science. Why do I say that? Because we have to carefully write a well designed prompt. So I will repeat again in this session that even if you are good at speaking, even if you are good at communication, good at language, you have vocabulary, okay, you have all the things set to be a good communicator, still it by default doesn't necessarily mean that you are a very good artist who writes stories or scripts, or you can publish books, right? So remember, to be a writer, be a story writer, novel writer, script writer, okay, dialogue writer, whatever you want to be, there is some amount of art, there is some amount of creativity that should exist in someone who is delivering that, right? So similarly, just to teach the concept of prompt, so I can just mention that prompt is carefully writing what you want the model to behave for you. So for an example, if I open up the ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT that you have to behave like maybe like a professor of computer science discipline, okay, and students will ask you doubts with respect, so answer professionally. The bot can then take up that role and do. So this is something that is prompt. Okay, prompt could be at system level, prompt could be as your user input level. Okay, so we will see about these things when we do hands on today. Of course, the session is all about hands on also. So see, traditional programming, it is always like, suppose if programming is supposed to be like drawing an art. Okay, so traditional programming is like you take up a blank canvas. Okay, you yourself take up pen, paper, paints, and design everything on top of it. Okay, so it's like writing logic, and logic can never fail, Hana. That if you are writing something like if, else, while, do while, okay, you're writing some try blocks, exception blocks, you're writing some functions, you're writing some class, you are your whatever you're coding, okay, coding always follows logic, and logic can never go wrong, okay. Your beliefs can go wrong in your life, but logic can never go wrong, right? That's the idea about programming. So traditional programming is something that is built on top of it, where all your interesting art of writing a good program, writing good algorithm, making it deterministic in nature, okay. By default, traditional programming inherits deterministic nature, okay. So when you write a code, could be in Python, Java, wherever you write, it behaves exactly as expected and it can never go wrong. You might have never heard about any bug that came up in production or testing or in QA test, that you wrote a code and that if block is not behaving like if block, okay. That's not possible. So if we use even a fine brush to design the painting in as detailed uh, design as possible on the canvas, we might get a really good code. Each line is like your art speaking traditional coding. But that's not the case with prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is something that you let the AI be the magic behind running and choosing those, you can say, paintbrush, the designs. You just simply set the canvas. So your role is just to set up the canvas, set up some of the blueprint to follow. Maybe like I need mountains, so as you can see, some trees on the mountains, and you can say picture worthy or a cinematic canvas, and that's where you leave AI with, okay. So in contrast, when you create prompt to an AI model, well, this is exactly what it means to prompt something. It means that you make bold and general layover, like just set the canvas. You can just talk something like that, hey, I want a painting with a beautiful landscape with mountains, trees, maybe some water bodies, okay. And you do not go into the level of to program it everything, to lay everything down on yourself, okay. You don't even focus on how the grass blades should look like, whether the tree should have leaf or not. Well, in case you want the AI to behave much better, this is where prompt engineering comes into picture. If at all you are very sure that you want to emphasize on some leaves of the tree, you can always put that in prompt, and this is prompt engineering ideally, that you are capable at explaining the model what your inner thoughts are, okay. So uh, so just to summarize, okay, with an example, and seeing what we are saying is that maybe we can achieve different things with the prompt. Like for example, please provide a concise summary about the following text, and then you give the text. So the model will behave like that. Or maybe summarize the following text into pointers. Okay, use number pointers 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you will still get a summary, but with pointers. Okay. Then can you give me a brief overview? One, a short paragraph to explain this. Maybe also give me a title. What should be the title of this? Give me a conclusion separately, and so on. So these are all different examples on how you can modify prompt even for a same example. So all the couple of examples I gave you would work on the same text but give you different type of outputs, okay. So then how can we even learn to craft something like a production ready prompt again, right? So it's fair to think that very specific keywords or control or logic might be coming down to prompt engineering. Prompt engineering seems like a course of engineering itself, right? Well, however, or to be very honest, there are no hard and fast rules, or it is not rigid like your traditional programming. Okay, achieving a good production ready prompt is therefore not something that is taught through academics, and it is also evident that we have seen that this is a relevantly new field, okay, and we have some guide to follow. Of course, the concept here is that we could always learn a bit from people of their experience of how they write prompts, what worked for them, what doesn't work in generally. We also have some fair idea about how the prompts can work. In fact, there are many research paper on prompt engineering. Okay, you can always hit up Google, search more about prompt engineering and what people have to say. But in general, yes, I can tell you that to design a prompt carefully, you have to make sure that you are talking to a machine first. Okay, remember that we are not dealing with a human. And if your language is not precise, if your language is ambiguous, if you're not very clear, okay, if your thoughts are not correctly emphasizing on the core concepts more, the chances are that your prompt will fail. But at the second point to remember is that prompts are supposed to fail. That's completely okay and normal. There is nothing like a pro person will come up, like someone who with tremendous experience could always run prompts in zero shot. Well, of course, someone who is seasoned, someone who is veteran in the concern of prompt engineering could, of course, write better prompts than you. But still, it doesn't guarantee that the prompt can work in the first attempt. So it is completely normal. It is acceptable that, and that's why the term is prompt engineering. That you have to engineer on top of from where you start. Okay, but of course, with some basic guidance and some discipline, we can start off with a good base. Okay, a good base would result in less number of iterations to finalize it. Okay, so well, yes, that's the basic idea of what prompting is supposed to be. Now, what happens is that what we have seen in many of the incidents is that people have there have been incidents in past in with many production grade prompts that people were able to destroy the prompt or break the prompt. So reverse prompt engineering is a concept that took a lot of boom, something that grew overnight as a concept to make production ready prompts. So what happened? See, we can talk about two level of points at which the prompts can fail. Well, these are also known as prompt injection. So remember how there is a critical flaw known as SQL injection, which can lead to security measures in your database breach. Similarly, so from the same inspiration, we coined this term known as prompt injection. So what prompt injection does is that, suppose if I am designing a chatbot which is supposed to work for let's upgrade company. Okay, so I carefully write it in the prompt that, hey, you are a chatbot and you are supposed to work for let's upgrade company only. So if anyone asks you about anything apart from let's upgrade, you're not supposed to answer that. Okay, so what will happen is that when I try to ask this bot that, hey, do you know about maybe some XYZ company, so the bot will say, sorry, I am a let's upgrade bot and I can only talk about this company. So through chat, if we can somehow deceive the bot, we can somehow crack the bot to answer something which it's not supposed to answer. It could be a hate speech, it could be a violent speech, it could be some restricted content, it could be maybe something which the bot is not supposed to speak, any in general term. If you are able to crack that, that's known as prompt injection, and that could be in two different ways. One is to leak the prompt of what the bot was prompt to begin with, and second is to leak some information through it. Okay, this is the problem that can happen with chatbot, and hackers will always keep on evolving. Hackers will always keep on trying to break your hard work, something that you have put a lot of efforts to make sure it cannot be broken. But the beauty is that if hackers develop, so do the developers also. So enters the prompt engineering in reverse way. So that's where reverse prompt engineering comes into picture. So the concept of reverse prompt engineering has emerged as a powerful technique that brings certain level of AI precision, okay, in our interactions with prompt engineering. So it's like reverse engineering of AI to begin with. Okay, it allows to leverage a generative capability of large language model. Okay, to craft precise and effective prompts. So basically, what we do is we provide a desired output to the LLM. See, that's the first step of reverse prompt engineering. Okay, what do you want? What your output is supposed to be? You give that, and then request it to generate an accurate prompt, a suitable prompt that can be that can produce such output. Okay, so that's in short what reverse prompt engineering is supposed to be. See, ideally, what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is something that helps us create write prompts that deliver output. That's prompt engineering. Now, what is reverse prompt engineering? So, reverse prompt engineering is something like that we write output and we take, you can say, generative model and ask this model now to generate a suitable prompt that can lead to these outputs. Okay. Now, you can say reverse prompt engineering could be of two types. One is macro and other is micro. So we will start off with the macro reverse prompt engineering. Okay. So let us take a look at these, and we will also do hands-on with these type of prompt engineering then. So in the macro approach, we first present the model with the desired output. Okay, that's the very first approach or a specific scenario, and then we instruct to generate the prompt. Okay, capable of either reproducing the exact desired output or accurately specifying that how we can reach this type of scenario. Okay, so macro is again subdivided into two different classes. One is example based and the other is scenario based. Okay, so I will cover both of you. I'll cover both the topics for you. One is, I'll say, uh, example based, and the other one is supposed to be, you can say, scenario based. Okay, so I'll type that scenario based. Okay, so these are two different ways in which the macro reverse prompt engineering could work. So let's start with the example based first. Okay, so example based reverse prompt engineering is a powerful technique that involves creating a prompt template by analyzing the existing examples from a desired output. Okay, and then use the template to consistently generate similar results. So that's something like a zero shot. Also, you can also take it as a zero shot, that we take up our input, sorry, we take up our output. Okay, and we analyze the existing output and tell the model that write a prompt that can consistently generate similar results. Okay, so let's assume, that we are a, you can say, any finance based company, and we wish to generate taglines for our products. Okay, maybe something like credit cards, debit cards, something like that. So suppose we admire the Mastercard tagline that there are some things money can't buy, for everything else there is Mastercard. Okay, so suppose that if this is something that is our tagline and we want to use it a lot, so I'll simply give you this example. I'll mention over here. Suppose we want to generate this example, and we want to write a prompt that can help us generate similar taglines. See, this could be really helpful even in some cases. For an example, Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber, and all these companies which generate similar prompt. You might have seen that almost every day on a fixed basis, like it would be lunch time, breakfast time, dinner time, we see these apps like Swiggy, Zomato keep on prompting us with innovative taglines and funny taglines that really could make up the mood for the correct food. Okay, so let us see how we can do this through example based prompt. So the very first thing we would do is I would firstly bring up my browser now. Okay, let me start my browser, and we will go to ai.google.com, which is the preferred LLM partner. Fine. So now we have the browser. I'll just go to aistudio.google.com. So this is where we will come up, and this is how the studio would look like, right? So for now, just pay attention to the right side, which is known as the run settings. So in the run settings, we have the very first card, which can help us select the chat model that we want to work with at this point. Okay, so at this point, I think I don't mind selecting the correct model, because anything will work. I can go with something like Flash latest. Okay, this is fine. But just to give you a little high level idea, Pro series models are really good at complex tasks. Okay, they are the state of the art models which can generate complex coding tasks, some tasks which require a lot of thinking and are little difficult to solve. So pro models, but they are also expensive ones. But since AI Studio gives us free usage up to certain limits, so you can still try out few pro models also. Whereas Nano series is specifically for generating images. Nano Banana 3 Pro being really a great model for image generation. It's not free even to try out. But we have Imagen 4, we have Nano Banana, and these models, they work good. For video, we have VO2. we have audio, and then we have Gemini, which is all-rounded model. And after Pro comes Flash, then comes Flashlight. So Flashlight is their smallest and the most small model possible. Okay, so we can go with something like 2.5 Flash latest, Gemini Flash latest, which is in by default a 2.5 Flash only. Okay, this is fine. Now this is where we will start doing the prompt engineering. Okay, so we will write example of we will say fintech company. Okay, so this is example prompt that we'll do. Okay, so what we will do is now we will try to explain you how basically the reverse prompt engineering could help us solve this problem. Okay, so we will start off with you are an expert reverse prompt engineer. You excel at generating you can say or maybe you can excel at the ability to reverse, so make sure reverse is correctly mentioned, reverse engineer, okay, prompt from a given text to you. Okay, that's the idea. So I will be providing you a tagline. Okay, so maybe it's a good idea that you use inverted commas to emphasize on things that are more important to you. Okay, so tagline, uh, please try to be as specific as possible. You see, this is carefully designing the prompt to be more in your way. Okay, and come up with a prompt, okay, that is, you can say, based on the tone, comma, style, and uh, other properties that you find could be relevant to the given input tagline. Okay, now I will be using the prompt you generate in future to generate similar taglines. Okay, uh, let me know if you have understood, okay, the tasks, so I can give you the tagline. Okay, feel free to ask for any clarifications. Okay, if you need before generating the prompt. Okay, since you are expert at this task, you will understand immense importance of being clear about the task, because better clarity means better prompt. Okay, so something like this, I think this is what we will keep the idea to the model. Okay, and let us see if the model can begin with us. Okay, so right click, control X. I'll copy this. I'll just copy this, and I'll do control X. For now I'll just keep this as a system prompt, and the remaining part I'll paste it here as a text input. Okay, now let me run this. I'm running it on Gemini Flash latest. Okay, yes, I've completely understood the task. I am ready for tagline. As an expert reverse prompt engineer, I will meticulously analyze its tone, style, and target audience underlying message. That's good enough for me. Okay, so now let me give that particular tagline that I was planning to work with. Okay, so I'll say that there are some things money can't buy, but everything else there is MasterCard. Enter. This is an Excellent, highly iconic tagline. I have analyzed the structure, tone, style, underlying marketing. Here is the reverse engineered prompt to generate similar results. Okay, so you see the model was not confused about anything that you are missing, and it just simply reverse engineered. Okay, so this is the reverse engineered prompt. Generate a series of taglines for major established brands that follow a specific two-part contrast based rhetorical structure, mirroring the style and tone and classic. Okay, this is the design target output. Okay, so it is very clearly mentioning the target output and style. This is a good way to prompt. I think I like the way it has explained the exact output. Okay, tone, which is good for a product. Okay, styling, just position, format, a universal deeply emotional truth is immediately contrasted with practical powerful definitive statements. Okay, interesting, must be two sentence clause statement connected by an implied or explicit conjunction. It has exactly captured the essence of our prompt. Part one is a setup, and part two is a punchline. Constraints, length, clarity, avoid cliches. Example: a global logistic shipping brand, FedEx or DHL. The journey of life is unpredictable. For everything you need to be certain about, there is DHL. Okay, so I believe this prompt is specific enough to maintain the structural tone. Okay, let us say I'll copy this, right click. Okay, let me copy this part. Right click, copy. Oh, go to gemini.com. Okay, I'll say I want you to do a task for me. Following are the instructions. If you are able to understand it, let me know. I will give you my company details, and then you generate the output. Okay, so I'll say details and I'll paste my prompt. I'll hit enter. Let us see if the model is able to take it. I fully understood the instructions. I'm ready to apply this specific thing. Please provide me the following things: company name, industry type, product type, and key value proposition. What specific practical problem do you solve the best? Okay, so I'll just copy this. Uh, Copy, paste one. Company name, I'll say uh, Swigato, and industry production product type is food delivery app. Okay, and fast, and what is a key value proposition could be uh, less, you can say cheapest delivery application with 20 minutes delivery time. You can say guarantee, something like that. Let's try. I'm trying to make something which is, of course, I don't think these companies have any of this. Swiggy, Zomato are really expensive ones. Let us see. Swigato is a competition now. Let's see what happens. So this is the thought that I've given. Now let us see what it can deliver to us. Generating taglines for Swigato. By the way, we are using a really good, I think we are using a fast model. Okay, fine. So here are five distinct taglines, Swigato. So the reason why we are getting five distinct taglines is because we didn't engineer our prompt very well. We could have really, you can say, mastered to give it only one single prompt or two prompts, whatever you wanted. Okay. So these focus on contrasting the emotional value of time, patience, connection through pragmatic reality of needing fast. Okay, love of labor of love. Okay, and okay, what is this? A home cooked meal is a labor of love. For the night, you want the food without the labor or the high cost. That's Svigato. Okay, the virtue of patience. Patience is a virtue best saved for life's big moments. For hunger, you need solved in 20 minutes or less. That's you get. This is really good. I think this is a great tagline to use. The company of good friends is invaluable. For most affordable feasts that arrives before the conversation stalls, that's Regato. I think this is also really a rich tagline, and it carries the essence that uh, friendship is to be nurtured rather than making connection with expense. Okay, I think it comes with a affordable feast. That's where college friendship, something like that, can play a part. Okay, so state of mind, true satisfaction is state of mind. Okay, for practical matter of filling your plate faster and cheaper than anyone else, that's Vigato. I don't mind these prompts, they are really good. Okay, so I think whatever prompt we reverse engineered from a single example is working wonders for us. Okay, so at the same point, while example based, uh, we just saw it excels at when we have a very clear output mentioned. Okay, see, my output was very, very well chosen. It is not something that I made. Okay, it's particularly available. It's a very common output. In fact, when we have to teach reverse prompt engineering, we start up with this sentence. So just because of reproducibility. Okay, I do not want to start off with something that I've never seen, and I waste your time to debug whether it is going to work or not. Okay, but again, this is just for educational purpose that I chose a very particularly famous tagline, and it worked. But the idea is that this is how we have to try. Okay, so see, it worked, it really worked well. But there is yet another type of, you can say, reverse prompt engineering known as scenario based. Okay, so scenario based reverse prompt engineering is really good in situations where we need to create prompts tailored to a specific scenario. For an example, not through an example. It is more, you can say, methodological. Okay, it's interactive approach where you provide a scenario to the model, then to ask it then to create a prompt on top of it. Okay, so for an example, we have a transcript of conversation. See, today we are recording this YouTube session. We can generate, maybe there's an interaction between me and someone else. Okay, so or maybe there is an interaction between a user and an agent, and we want the model to give us summary, analyze the sentiment. Okay, tell us if the user's solution is resolved. Maybe this is a chatbot we are talking about or something like that. So let's figure how we can create a perfect prompt for these examples. Okay, so the very first thing we will do is we will start off with some example. Let me go back. So I have a very weird neck pain today. I have been working since morning, so maybe I'm a bit irritated, and you might see me holding my neck a lot throughout this session. Okay, so avoid that. If it is irritating you, I'm really sorry. Now let's move ahead. We'll start off with a new prompt. Okay, so we offer the context to the model. We offer something to the model and initially ask an explanation. Well, that's reverse prompt engineering for us. Okay, we give the context and ask for an explanation and request few examples to illustrate it. Okay, so I'll tell you how we can do that. Okay, so the very first thing that we'll do is we will start off with priming the model. So what does priming the model mean? I mean, the best analogy at this point that I could think of is that, do you know that how water motors work, like the water pump motors work? You have to first prime it with water so that it can start supplying water. So priming is something like that. We are preparing the model to before we can start using it, something like that. Okay, so we first put some context to it. Okay, so what we'll do is, can you tell me about the concept of prompt engineering in 5 lines only. Okay, so now what we'll do is we are warming up. It is something like also warming up the model. Before we start asking the model the direct task, we will let the model build. Okay, what's the conversation going? Okay, I have also heard about reverse prompt engineering. Explain about that concept too. So now the model will have in its memory that I have to talk about reverse prompt engineering. Okay, so reverse prompt engineering is inverse process of standard. Instead of giving the prompt, you do this, you do that. Okay, so what will happen is the model will give us an output something like this. Okay, so Now we will start the actual task. Okay, so what we'll do is you are okay. Can you behave like an expert in reverse prompt engineering? Okay, comma, someone who excels at writing really great scenario based reverse prompts. Okay, so scenario reverse prompts. Okay, so that is whenever someone provides you a scenario, okay, you can deliver the input prompt needed, okay, uh, in a precise, comma, production ready style, okay, for any LLM. I'll also explain in bracket. By LLM I mean large language model, okay, can work with. Okay, so comma, let me know if you have understood the task so that I can provide you the scenario. If there are any doubts before we begin, you can clear them first. Okay, so let me hit the enter. Let's see what the model talks about. So letting the model ask, okay, if there are any doubts is very crucial because the model can then have a better understanding. This is an excellent challenge. Yes, I have thoroughly understood the task. Considering me a specialist in latent prompt and archaeology, I excavate the most precise Pohan prompt, something like this. This is I'm ready. Please provide the first scenario, the desired output of the result, and I'll give you a reverse engineered prompt to generate that. Okay. So now what we'll do is the scenario is that I get input of transcription, okay, between let us say support agent and customer. Okay, I need to generate following things. Okay, uh, which is one summary. Okay, a brief summary. Okay, I do not want long paragraphs, something quick to read. Okay, second, sentiment. Okay, this could be customers sentiment. What else? Sentiment. Third would be resolution. Okay, even a simple yes or no or boolean will work to signify if the query was resolved or not. Okay, so something like this. And so this is the scenario that we are giving. We are not giving the exact input or the output. Okay, we are just giving a scenario and asking the model to come back to us. So, so this is it. Here's a reverse engineered prompt ready for production. You are an expert AI contact center analyst. Good. Your task is to process a conversation transcription between customer and support agent and generate three specific structured data points, a concise summary, and sentiment. Input is a raw transcript, so they are giving something like that. We can just fit in the input now. Output format constraint. You must output only the result in the following JSON structure. Very good. I think I am happy with the way it has reverse engineered, because in this case, if my structure is very well defined, I need three key and their values. It is really good to use JSON. And let's see what it has used. Summary, a single sentence quick read summary of the issue and the outcome, max 25 words. Good. Single word, positive, negative, neutral, a single value, true or false. There are some general instructions, and then there is example of provision of how the transcript could look like, and this is where I will have to fill in, and I'm really sure that this prompt will definitely work. Okay, so this is really good. I think this is really the best part of reverse prompt engineering, that we do not need to be good at number one, language. I see many of even freshers, some senior developers, even some good bad young naive seniors, amateurs, doing this mistake. They write the prompt on their own, and they often have so many typos, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, punctuation errors, and of course I cover typos, right? So there are so many type of errors which, while we are typing from keyboard, which could be delivered if we are not reviewing our prompt a lot. So it is always better to take use of AI to make prompt. Okay, now, well, this could seem like a paradox, and trust me, we are not wrong. This is actually a paradox. Okay, the paradox is that we are using LLM to generate a prompt which would be used by an LLM. Okay, and I'll give you my honest career feedback. Okay, so from whatever I've learned in this industry is that reverse prompt engineering is not a sure shot solution. It is not a fixed bullet to fire when your prompt engineering is not working. Even reverse prompt engineering can sometimes not deliver results. In fact, like majority of the time, it will not be the ultimate replacement. You always have to come follow the cycle back with prompt engineering. But yes, in many of the moderate tasks, like the examples I'm giving you, could be simple, medium, or some complex tasks also. Reverse prompt engineering sometimes do work wonders, and it helps a lot. So for an example, if I have to do a boilerplate, I already have a decent amount of prompt to begin with. Okay, so that's about how macro prompts work. Now what about something else? Okay, so there's also something known as a micro reverse engineering prompt. So micro reverse engineering prompt comes handy when things get a bit tricky. Okay, and macro approach is not working for us, but I'll just cover micro on a little high level. Okay, so with the micro approach, we zoom into the prompt and focus on specific keywords we need. Okay, so that's the idea. So the core difference, unlike macro, is like we are not asking the model to come up with the whole prompt. Instead, we are asking for its help to figure out the right keywords. Okay, something like hot words, or you see how in resume we put a lot of many keywords which can help us pass the ATS score, because these are the words which have more importance. So micro level reverse prompt engineering is that we do not ask the model to write prompt for us, but to find, even at levels, at maybe suppose, if in the given example, suppose if we are doing summary and sentiment and resolution, will not in micro will not let the model focus on all three altogether. We'll just focus on summary. Instead of asking to give the entire prompt, we'll tell the model for crystal clear words, or the guidance to generate something which can help us get better summary. Similarly, then we will ask the model to do something like that, and that's the idea. A little bit about micro. Okay, so if you are really interested in more such sessions, you want to understand more examples, you want to do more prompt engineering with me, maybe you want to understand reverse, you want me to take up some more examples on top of it, we can definitely arrange more sessions in future. All you have to do is you have to be a little, you can say, don't have to be a little selfish. Okay, see, we are giving you our love by bringing all these sessions free of cost on YouTube. Okay, hats off to Let's Upgrade for making all this possible. Such quality content is being delivered to all of you with just coming up live on YouTube. Okay, so do share your love back with us. Do not be selfish. Okay, give us enough comments, give us enough likes, because that's the only fuel that can keep this fire running. Okay, so for Let's Upgrade to make it possible for engineers like me and many of my respectful developers to come here and bring such great sessions, it is very crucial and very important that we get some great comments, we get some appreciation, even some honest feedbacks are welcomed. We never encourage you to artificially write some good feedbacks for us. Even if you're not satisfied, please bring it up, put it in the comments, because that can also help us improve and deliver better content. Okay, so once again, I thank you all for joining in this session. I will see you all in yet another interesting sessions on LLM. Till then, tata, bye bye, sayonara, good night.